All right, so
Alrighty.
you leave the military, and then that's when you work for Jeff Bezos?
Yes, that is when I worked for Jeff Bezos. But I actually took 2 years to complete my undergraduate degree. So I went back to Howard, back to DC, and as soon as I graduated from Howard, I went back to New York. I was like, I'm going to do this all over again. I have the military behind me. I have the VA, the power of the VA with me. I can make it in New York. And so I was lucky enough to find a space there. I thought it was a sign from God because I had a room in the Big L building. I don't know if you know who Big L is.
You talking about the rapper Big L?
The rapper Big L. So I moved into the Big L building in New York. I just thought that I'm a rapper, I'm a musician. I'm like, big mural of Big L, nice corner store, bodega. This is vibes. Central Harlem, kind of close to the Bronx. I think 139th, 140th. And I spent a year in New York. I got to live in Harlem and Brooklyn. I found a 1-year MBA program. I was still very energetic. I'm energetic now, but I was insane. I guess coming out of the Army, I was like, just bring it all on. 1-year MBA program. But there was a study abroad written into the program. So I was super excited. A week after enrolling in that program, hadn't even started, I got an offer from Amazon. So I had my job at Amazon through that year. So that also put the pressure on, but it was I got a job. I have to finish this thesis. I have to keep going. So that was just a godsend. A lot of people were like, you're going to regret working for Amazon. I do not regret working for Amazon, but it was a challenge. I was hired as an area manager. That's pretty much like a middle level manager in a smaller fulfillment center. So I went directly into fulfillment operations. And yes, that does involve robots and the use of robotic tooling. But there are lots of people also involved. And that was one of my favorite parts of the job. A lot of associates that I had to manage, upwards of 300 people, rolling seasonally, temp, full-time, as well as managing managers. That was my first time doing that. But that really got me thinking about how can I remove myself physically from the workspace. That experience did. And it also made me hands-on familiar with the way that machine data can be monitored and used to do predictive analytics and improve the quality of different situations. So
okay, so that really got you going down that machine learning deep dive?
Not too far into machine learning, but really, I would say definitely introducing me to data science in a real way, which it does get there to machine learning being the way that we facilitate a lot of predictive analytics. It really got me thinking about dashboarding technology.
So what, the tableaus?
Data-driven decision-making, Kibana. I didn't have as much time as I wanted to when I was working there. Being off the floor to do those projects. But I always look back and I said, okay, what would have made me incredibly successful in that position? And they have leadership principles. And one of them is invent and simplify. And that was the one that I didn't do. I didn't do a lot of them, but that was the one that I wish I really took advantage of just because the sheer amount of data, right? That is available to me there and that I did see and just thought very critically about if I could do it all over again, what would make me a rock star? And that gave me the transferable skill, the most recent or immediate transferable skill and kind of perspective. A lot of people think you have to have this rock solid transferable skill when you're getting into cybersecurity. The first thing you need is the perspective. That'll get you further than a lot of people think. I think I just came across a CISSP prep course and I just perused it very shortly, and that's one of people's key takeaways for that professional certification exam is a perspective. And I think that's probably why I excel at most things that I do, because I kind of have that military on me. You get dropped in a situation, you have to immediately look around, see what's going on, and adapt, and kind of turn on that present vision and say, okay, what are the materials, what do I have at my disposal, and how can I work that thing to make myself invaluable?
No, I agree. And when you were talking, I thought about, well, for one, you said those principles, which is that whole interview process is. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about the interview process.
It's funny because having done it once successfully, I think back like what kind of state, like what perspective was I in when I interviewed so well for this, you know, it's grueling, but I think at the time, possibly coming out of that military work, I had a predisposition for what they were looking for. In practice, it's not who I am
Right.
as a person, so it didn't work out long term for me.
Yeah.
But
I know, like, even for me, like, when I did my latest, and I'm saying latest, this is like last year, I went back and listened to it, and I was like, shouldn't have said that.
yeah, you got to keep a tight shot group. The STAR method is a real thing. So it definitely got, there's so many lessons learned, right? So, like, again, it could be that space was not for me long term. Didn't necessarily enjoy it, didn't have the best balance, but so many great learning.
Yeah.
So much great learning that I did there that I can take with me into so many other different experiences is important to me. So yeah, the leadership principles are cheesy, but as a communicator and as a writer myself, it's invaluable for you to be able, and I tell people this all the time too, you want to make yourself invaluable in a corporation, draw a straight line between what you want to do for your individual contributor goals and the strategic objectives of that corporation, and you will not miss.
Yeah.
Can't miss.
Yeah. And I was happy that you put in, you said something about the CSSP. Like, I actually have finally put my foot forward, and I'm actually consistent with the studying of it. I had another friend, she was talking about she's taking, I said, look, keep me accountable.